Welcome back to Fab Automotive Detailing. In this video I'm going to show you a way to take these rusty, nasty looking calipers and make them look really nice without spending a whole bunch of money. Let's do it.
Okay, so the noise you're hearing in the background, we have the exhaust fan. Let's see, right up there, going to make it hot in here. So that's what the noise is. So here's what it looks like with the wheels off. You can see the caliper, pretty rusty. We're gonna clean this off with brake clean and brush it a little bit, and it's gonna look really nice when we get done. As you can see in here, this is Indiana weather type stuff. All this rust. And if you've ever done a Jeep Grand Cherokee, or you're doing a Jeep Grand Cherokee and you're watching my video, there is a little O-ring right here. If you don't take that O-ring out, I could use a little pick. If you don't take that O-ring out, this rotor, you're gonna fight it trying to get it off. So let's see if I can zoom in on that little O-ring right there. Because one time I beat one with a hammer and couldn't figure out why it wasn't coming off, because that's something you really can't see very well when you're just looking at it real quick. Anyway, so there we go. The pads need replaced anyways. I don't have a light. Let me grab a light real quick. See the pads, they need replaced. So we're doing brakes all the way around. Once again, Indiana weather. It's pretty bad. So look at that axle and the axle nut. Maritime, now that you're a mechanic, you know what I'm talking about as far as stuff coming apart easy. And with rust, it makes it really difficult. And luckily, you work down here in North Carolina, so you don't really have to worry about too much of this. But as you can see, this one needs brakes back here as well. Once again, another O-ring right there. So, anyways, I'll show you what I'm doing. I am not making a video on all of this stuff today. These are the brakes that I got off of Amazon. So here's all the pads. And then the rotors are all in here. They're cross-drilled and they're black. They're coated, so hopefully they won't rust. I'm gonna be cleaning the wheels while I got them off. I'm not gonna make a video on that. Here's the paint that we're going to be using. Red Caliper paint by Duplicolor, and we're gonna clear coat them with high heat Rust-Oleum clear coat. Now, I think this was $30 at Advance Auto Parts. Got it online and used a discount code. And then this right here, the clear coat I'm going to be using, I got at Walmart, and I think it was $7.88. While I do the brakes, I'm going to go ahead and flush the brake fluid, put some brand new AMSOIL, great brake fluid right here, some of the best brake fluid you ever have. And we're going to use some metal protector on some, nuts and bolts, and definitely on the face of the rotor here before I put the wheel back on. So that's what we're looking at in this video. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to really show though is this right here. This is the point of this video. I've done 2 brake videos. You can go back and look at those. I'm probably not going to make any more brake videos. But I just found out when I pulled this thing in here. Here we go again. I don't have my light. When I pull this in here, I found out that it needs lower ball joints. I just checked them. Right there. You can see this thing's been sitting. It sat out here forever before I ever put an engine in it. It is rusty, but ball joints replaceable. I don't have to replace the control arm, so that's a really good thing. So we're gonna get started here in a minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and take all this stuff off, and then we'll start cleaning and painting these calipers. So I got the right front off, and I got the caliper hanging here, which you guys can't see right now, but I wanted to stop real quick. You can probably see how rusty this is. And just grab the camera. See that? How thick the rust is? That's Indiana for you. So if you're from Indiana and you take your car to a shop and the mechanic says that it's really rusty, he's really got to fight it, anything on these in Indiana gets really bad. One thing I want to stop real quick and say is I've never given Camaro Time Pete a proper shout out. He has been a supporter of my channel since my second video, and he is amazing. I can call him a friend. I have his phone number. I call him on the phone. We talk, we text. I would highly suggest going to his channel, checking his channel out. Hit that subscribe button while you're there, because
He makes some really good videos, really good content, especially on his red Camaro. That's a really neat car. Wish it was a Challenger, Pete, but you know, he's a car guy. He loves any type of car. I'm just giving him a hard time. Go to Camaro Time, visit that channel. It's a great channel. Give him some support. He was out of a job for a little while and he became a mechanic, and he's starting to learn, you know, type of stuff that I do every single day. And it's not easy on the body. He's kind of fighting a back problem right now. And by the time this video comes out, hopefully he's not still fighting that back problem. But once again, go to his channel, show him some love. This is a wheel hub resurfacing kit made by OTC. There's the part number. And I'm gonna show you what it does. I use these almost daily. It goes on the end of a drill, like this. There's the pad. You put it over your lug stud, and I'm gonna show you right here what it does. Put it on low. That smooths. Hopefully I can show you. This car is kind of different, but you see up here, and it actually ate away at the rust. Now it's smooth right there. It's not real rough like it is right here. If you're a mechanic and you work on any cars that are rusty at all, I highly recommend this tool. And I saw this tool on South Main Auto's channel that I'm subscribed to, and he swears by it, uses it all the time, so I had to buy one. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean all these up. Now right here, I need to get here too, so the rotor can set flush. You don't want the rotor to be, you know, flush here because I smoothed it out here, but not set flush here. You want that rotor flush against this hub. Now this is a lot harder to do because this fits right over the lug stud. See that? And it cleans really, really well. So right here is a little bit harder to do because it's not over a lug stud, but it is doable, as you can see. Now see, that's pretty much. I'm gonna go in high speed here, because they tell you to do low speed, but high speed seems to work a lot better. Gotta love rust here in Indiana. I'm not gonna sit here and show you guys me doing this whole thing, but I wanted to show this tool real quick since I was at work and I could show it, and give Pete from Camaro Time a shout out. So we're gonna start painting here in just a second. Okay, all the brakes are off. Here's what comes in the box. The caliper cleaner. Actually has a cap for it right there, which is basically just brake clean. You get a mixing stick and a brush. Now let me tell you something. Once you open this paint and once you put the paint on the brush, you got to get the job done, because if you stop to take a break and come back, that thing's gonna be hard as a rock. The brush, it's only good for one time. And then here's the bottle of paint. It's red paint. It's what my wife wanted. Believe it or not, I have 4 of these at home, 2 blacks and 2 silvers, and she wanted red, so we had to go buy red. But anyways, here's the paint. It also comes with a thing of Scotch tape if you want to tape off your bleeders or your caliper boots, stuff like that, the piston boots. So that's what all comes in the kit. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to scrub these, not really scrub, but wire brush. This is a caliper brush, is what it is. We're just going to wire brush so that any loose rust will fall off if there's any loose rust. Now there's some parts in here you don't have to worry about painting. You don't have to worry about painting right here where your pads go and stuff like that. But any type of loose paint, see how that changes the color? Or loose paint, loose rust. I'm not worried about painting all the way in here. Oh, by the way, if you're doing this and you're doing brakes, this is before you do this, I would grease up your slide pins before so you don't get grease on your freshly painted caliper. So there's the bracket. Here's the caliper hanging here. I'm just gonna go ahead and just run over this really quick. All I'm trying to do is get any loose rust. And then in here is where I'm going to grease. So I wanna make sure that's good and clean. I'm not using a spray paint, so I really don't need to mask anything off. I have used a spray paint type before. It just does not last nearly as long as this paint does. The one you actually paint with a brush. The reason I'm cleaning this now, because I'm gonna paint this first. I have it bolted up. I'll paint this first, and then I'll come in and put this on, and I'll paint this. But I need to paint this right here before I put it on, because otherwise it's blocked. I can't paint it. Otherwise I already have it bolted up there. That's pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Brake clean, that's all it is. It doesn't matter what you get this on, it ain't gonna hurt nothing, and it cleans really good. And if you have air, you see it dries really fast. It's not gonna hurt your boots. It's meant for brakes. It's probably really loud. Go over one more time. And that's it. That's all there is to prepping the surface. I gotta get this can open and stuff and get it mixed because I don't want to have to, you guys don't want to watch me sit here and mix it. I'm gonna get the can open, get it mixed, and we're gonna start. Okay, it's all mixed up. I went around and cleaned all the other calipers and brackets. Well, the backs don't have brackets, but now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start painting. I'm not gonna bore you guys with this. I'll show you a little bit of it and then I'll put this in a time lapse. I'm only showing you do this one anyways. This stuff goes on real easy, nice and even when you apply it. And like I said, start on one, go all the way around, and when you're done with the very last one, you should be able to come up here and do your final coat because you do not want this brush to dry. Can't stress that enough. I have found out so many times that I always forget and I lay it down and come back and it's hard as a rock. Because it says that this stuff has ceramic in it. It's probably why it lasts so long, because it lasts a lot longer than the spray paint type does. Especially if you keep your vehicle clean. And the first coat does look a little thin. The second coat's where it looks better. So that took me about 16 minutes to do. It is kind of tedious. It's really sticky right now and tacky. I'm gonna go around and do the rest of them. I'll come back and do the second coat, and then when I'm all done, I'll turn the camera back on and you guys will see it.
Okay, so both coats are done, first and second coat. My wife showed up to help me, brought some lunch, and she helped me finish the second coat. But here is the right front. And this is the left front. My daughter and my son both over there. This is the left rear. And this is the right rear. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go home for about, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours, if maybe longer, let this completely cure. You're not supposed to drive it until 24 hours after you apply it. You're not supposed to put a wheel on it for at least 2 hours after applying it. So we're going to let it dry for 2 or 3 hours because when we come back, we're going to put some clear coat on it, let it dry for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to take it all apart, put the brakes together, and get it back down on the ground. So we're going to be back here in about 3 hours or so, and we'll catch you then.
So it is time now to put the clear coat on, and we're going to use Rust-Oleum's high heat engine paint, which is 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to put like a shell around the paint, the caliper paint, keep the paint looking really good. I'm going to shake the can up, and it says to do coats. Let's see. Apply 2 or more light coats a few minutes apart. So we're going to apply this coat, I'm gonna do short bursts of paint so it doesn't, you know, get all over everything, just really short. Covered up my lug studs so I don't get paint all in my lug studs. So we're gonna shake her up. Like I said, short burst, like that. Not gonna get a big cloud going on. So it gets all over my freshly detailed paint. And that's pretty much it. Like that. And I'm gonna, you know, give us a couple minutes. I'm gonna put some more on it. And when we get this, once this is dry, I'm gonna put the brakes and everything back on. You guys will see what it finally looks like, the final results. Well, there you go. It's as easy as that. You know, it does take a little while because you have to wait for the stuff to cure, but it looks so much nicer. And I went ahead and put the pads and rotors on that I got on Amazon. I think I told you guys about that. I think I got them for $130. That saved me like $110 versus buying stuff here. I hope they last a while. I have no idea if they're going to or not. Let me give you guys a quick view. I got to use my flashlight because I left my light for my camera at home. As you can see, cross-drilled. They are painted black, so the only thing that's going to show is where the pads go. And everything else will be black, so hopefully it won't rust. Now, I will admit to my mistakes. I kind of started doing this a little sooner than I should have. I didn't let it cure fast enough. I had to do some touch-up around it. But honestly, you'd have to really look for it to see it. Here's the passenger side. I mean, look how nice it looks from far away. And then the rear, driver's rear. That one's the driver's, by the way, being retarded. And passenger rear. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna seat these brakes in, and we will come back. As you can see, I got the brakes seated in. They're no longer black, just black where the pads aren't touching. Got them real nice and hot. You might be hearing the highway behind me because my work is right next to US 40. It looks really nice. They were a little noisy at first, but it's kind of going away. Kind of expected that with them being a coated rotor all the way. Everything looks good. And that's how I do brake calipers when I want to paint them. It saves me a lot of money versus having them powder coated and stuff like that. I've got about almost $40 in them to paint the calipers. I mean, that's really cheap. It is time consuming. And if you do replace your brake pads and rotors like I did, do not forget to pump that brake pedal up before you take off, because I don't want you backing in and killing somebody because you have no brake pedal, or run through your garage door or something like that. So if you take the calipers off at any time, if you ever take caliper off, always pump it. Make sure you got a good pedal before you take off. I think it looks really good. As you guys can see, they broke in good and even. Those $130 brakes so far, there was no pulsation when I drove it. I got up to about 65, hit the brakes, no pulsation. I seated them in, got them really good and hot. I kind of wish I would have waited till tomorrow to actually finish it, because I ended up having to touch up spots of the calipers. That's my fault, being in a rush, not paying attention with the directions say on the back, because it says 24 hours before actually driving and putting back together. So, but a lot of times I don't replace the brakes. I did one on a Colorado not too long ago before I started my YouTube channel, and I actually just did it on the car. I masked off what I needed to with the paint, did it really good. Didn't have to seat the brakes in because they were used brakes. I didn't even take the caliper off. So, you know, I let the guy come get it after about 2 hours after I did it, and it's been fine ever since. And I've detailed it since then, and the calipers still look really, really good. So that's it. They got red, they got silver, they got blue, they got black. Pretty much any color you want. You can go to Advanced to get it, AutoZone to get it. Walmart sometimes carries the brush type, but usually the spray paint type. But the brush type seems to last a lot longer. And if you put a clear coat over it, it really looks good for a long time. And just if you keep everything clean, you're gonna have no issues at all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button while you're down there, hit that little bell so every time I upload a video, you do get notified, and we will see you next time.